Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. We're back for part 3 of cleaning up my bonsai Avatar Grove to get it all ready for spring. In part 2 of this series, I was pruning up all the trees that are surrounding the main tree of the forest, and today I'll be working on the main tree to get that kind of cathedral style to the upper canopy. This cathedral type top occurs in old growth trees where the branches start to reach skyward and they look like miniature trees surrounding the main trunk. And sometimes that main trunk dies off, so all you're left with is a crown of upright branches that look like the spires of a cathedral. Right now the top of this tree just looks like a big bush, so today I'll be pruning back all these upright branches I've grown, making them, more compact and more defined to get that cathedral type look to the tree. Yesterday was really cool out, but today it's supposed to get up to 8 degrees, so I'll be working in the heat. All right, here I go. So I'm looking for an upright leader, and all the other branches will be coming off that upright leader, and I'll shorten them as much as possible. I'll just be working on one branch at a time, trying to make each vertical branch here look like a miniature tree. So getting that conical form to the upright branches. So just bring everything into that kind of triangular shape, getting some definition in these cathedral branches. And it won't happen all at once. It's a process that'll take many years. And hopefully by the end of today, I'll have all this cathedral type top defined and you'll kind of see the look that I'm going for. So there'll be a lot of pruning and pinching to get my little miniature branches defined. Tomorrow I'll be heading to the Toronto Bonsai Society's meeting. That should be very exciting. Bit of a road trip for me. So I kind of have the apex of that one branch defined there, if you can see it. Move this branch out of the way. I'm just getting these lower branches in check now. I've got this first upright branch completed, so I'll give you a view of that. So here it is. So you can see it looks like a miniature upright tree. There's some branches coming off the bottom, which are a little long, but I can't really reduce them back much more than that. Just a little pinching at the tips. And we'll try and get them a little more compact in future. But they're not too bad. So there's that first branch, kind of pruned up in the cathedral style. I'm starting the pruning at the front of the tree, and then I'll work my way around to the back. So my next branch will be this front one out here, getting that pruned up. So I'm always looking for a leader, so the natural vertical leader. And I'm just looking for a single leader. I don't want multi trunks coming up in this style. So, and again, as you work away on the Thuja tree, you can see more and more of the branch structure. At the moment it just looks like a big dense hedge, but as you work away at it, you kind of start to see the branch structure, and you start to see the tree within the bush, I guess is the word. Yeah, so a lot of pinching of the tips to get them compact, and pruning anything that's going the wrong direction. The next branch I'll be doing is the one right beside this one. They're actually coming off of the same branch here. It comes up and divides. So I'll be doing this one in the cathedral style next. So it needs a bit of pruning and a bit of pinching. This cathedral style is kind of unique to the western cedars and maybe some of the spruces and maybe the redwoods. And the reason I picked this style for this tree is I was looking through pictures of, trees out in British Columbia, and I just fell in love with that style. It's just something that really appealed to me. And every species of tree has sort of a unique old growth style to it. And I encourage everyone to study pictures of the real full-size trees in the forests and, about all around the world, and study the trees and their structure and try and find out what makes that tree look like that tree, you know, what makes a cedar look like an old growth cedar, and try and get those basic elements that, you know, make a small tree look large. I've got the second part of that branch pruned up now, so I'll put my hand in behind so you can kind of see. Here it is, the second tree. And you know, it doesn't look like a perfect conical tree, and that's good. You don't want it looking too perfect. It should be quite, you know, disorderly, and that'll give it that really natural appearance. If these were pruned in really tight, you know, triangular forms, it wouldn't look like a miniature tree. It would look like some topiary or something. You've got to have some freedom in these branch structures so they don't look too contrived. The next branch I'll go on to is this lowest one here. You can see it's quite bushy, so that'll need some thinning and getting that structure all pruned up and looking good. So I'll start on that one next. So again, I'm looking for my leader, my branch leader. Or like this branch above, you're going to have two leaders coming off the same branch, which this one looks like it has also. It divides into two down here. So I'll have a leader for this section of the branch and a leader for this section. So I'll start with this one, picking my natural trunk line for the leader, which is right here. On this branch here, you can see how dense it is. And the reason for that is, if we look under here, you can see the one branch divides from 1 into 4. There's 2 lower branches, and then up here there's 2 upper ones. And with these Thuja trees, you can't simplify them all at once. I do want this to come up from 1 and divide into 2. The outer ones, as they come up, would naturally clear all the inner cathedral type branches. So it would make sense to get rid of the ones that are in towards the inside of the tree and keep these outer ones for growing up into cathedral branches. So I'm going to do that. I need to simplify that section. I don't want to, you know, start getting a big bulge here, which you can already see it's starting a little bit. So this could change the look of the tree quite a bit. I'm going to start with the one on the inside. I definitely don't want that one. So off it goes, pruning it right back to the base like that. So that one's gone. So now we're dividing from 1 into 3, and the middle branch here isn't very strong. You can see it here, whereas the other 2 are quite strong branches and they're developed more vertical. So the next one I'll get rid of is this one right here. And I think put it off like that, and I'll just come in and clean up these like that. So now I have the one branch dividing into 2, and I have my 2 vertical cathedral-like tops to the branches. So now I'll prune these up. So I'm just pinching these branches back, pruning out any overlapping pieces to the branches, just kind of sorting out their general structure. That's getting there. You can see kind of the start of my conical type tree. A little long here. Take that off. A little crowded in this area. I'll take this branch off here. That's looking better. Yeah, I think that's about as far as I can take back this one branch now. So I'll work on the other part of the branch, so on the right hand side here now. So there's that branch pruned up. Now let's have a look at this one. So my main leader is back here, right there. So everything else will be a smaller, compact horizontal branch. So anything sticking vertically up off them will be pruned away. I finished pruning up this lowest branch, so there it is. You can see it divides into two. This looks like a conical tree, and so does this one here. So that branch is complete. So that's 3 branches done now, and you can see it's opening up the front of the tree quite a bit. It's looking good. I've got to pick the next branch to work on now. I think it'll be this one right here. Yeah. So again, I'll pick a leader, looking for my natural flow lines. There's a dead leaf in there. And my leader for that branch is right here. So everything else will be cut back to horizontal branching. It's quite warm in the greenhouse here, so I thought I'd give the moss a watering, and on top of my rain barrel was a disc of ice, and I managed to get it off in one piece, so I'll show it to you. Here it is, a perfect disc of ice. Think we should break it? I think we should. All right, here it goes. I'm going to drop it on the table, and hopefully it'll shatter. Here we go. All right, now I'll give the moss a watering using my spinning tree bonsai turntable from Adrian. This thing's fantastic. It just makes this pruning so much easier to be able to spin this forest around. Give that moss a good soaking. Keep it nice and green for spring. And that will do it. I've got that next branch all pruned up. Here it is here. And you can see the triangular shape or conical shape of that cathedral branch. So I need to pick a next branch, and I think it'll be this one out front here. This lower branch. You can see how shaggy it is. So trying to get, an upright leader and all these other branches pruned back to get that miniature tree look to this branch. I've got that shaggy lowest branch all pruned up now, so you can see that. Again, it looks like a conical miniature tree growing up beside the main trunk line. I've noticed that some of the bark on the tree over here is starting to strip off. Sometimes these plates get really loose, the bark plates like that, and in nature you can just see they just strip off naturally. They get so loose that they just fall off, and at the base of the tree you'll see all these strips of bark, and it quickly grays up again the tree and looks good again. It is starting to get some nice bark on this tree. It took a long time. When I first got this tree, it was just a tree I was going to use as part of a hedge, and I turned it into a bonsai tree, and it was smooth for most of its life. For probably the first 15 years, the trunk was absolutely smooth. And lately, kind of the last few years, it started to develop all these cracks in the bark and getting some really nice character to the trunk of the tree. I'll keep working around these lowest branches. I think I need to get those sorted out on this side. So I'll work on, there's a branch here that is just kind of a big mess. So I'll go in and clean up that structure and get it all pruned up and looking good. Again, this branch, it comes up, where am I here? Here, and divides into multi-branches. So I have basically 2 main branches, so I'll have to have a leader for this side and a leader for this side, splitting into 2 cathedral type branches. And these long lower ones will have to be pruned back. There's a dead leaf in here. And that'll give me a lot more light and room for these surrounding trees, so they're not all kind of merging into one big clump. I had a quick lunch break. I'm back at it now, picking another branch to prune up, and I'm thinking maybe this back one here. It's kind of grown long and it's interfering with this other tree here, so when I get these pruned back, they should fit together a lot better. I finished pruning some of these branches at the side here and kind of towards the back. So next I'm going to switch over to this side. I've got a really large branch coming off here that's just full of foliage and really bushy looking. So I'll prune that back, and then I'm going to go up and start doing some of the work on the crown. I'm not sure if I'll get this tree finished today. It's there's a lot of decision making and a lot of pruning, so I may have to spread it out over a couple of days to do the main tree, but we'll keep at it. I'll be away in Toronto tomorrow, so all these lower branches here, my apex is way up here, and all these lower branches just need to be brought in, made more compact, and sort out the branch structure. So yeah, a lot of cutting and pinching on these lower branches. And you don't want to rush pruning these trees. You want to do them carefully and accurately, dealing with one branch at a time, pruning it up the best you can. I've got this lowest side branch pruned up now, so you can see the leader coming up. All the other branches are pruned short, more horizontal branches coming off of the main leader, so it almost looks like a separate tree by itself. Yeah, there's another thick one over here. I think I'll just have to keep working on these lower branches and work my way up to the crown. I do have some light left in the day, but I definitely won't get this tree finished today. It's just, there's a lot of work in pruning this, and I want to do it slowly and carefully. Yeah, so I'll keep working away. I think I will do this branch over here next. It's really bushy. So again, I'm looking for my branch leader, which looks like it's up here. You can make a nice cedar tea from these leaves. Just boil them in water and you have a nice cup of tea. Boy, I got a lot of branches at the back to go still. There's kind of the back of the tree. Compare that to the front, which is getting quite open. You can see the main trunk line and all the branch structure now. I'll just take you in for a tour of what I've done so far. Because the sun, I don't want it to get dark in here and then you can't really see anything I've done. So yeah, here's all the branches kind of close up. You can see the trunk in there. If we come down low, you can kind of look up at the tree. So now you can see all the areas that are, quite bushy up top here. Once it's all thinned out, I think it'll look quite good. You can see how bushy it is at the back here. Really just wild with growth, which is good. You want your trees to grow, and then you prune them back, and you got to keep them healthy. You can't be pinching them all the time and not letting them grow, or they'll just get weak and die. So that's kind of the canopy at the present moment. I'll keep working away. I've still got some sunlight left in the day. I'll keep working away and see how far I can get on the main tree today. I'm going to have to move the tree from the main bench here down to a lower position. It's getting really hard to work way up high on the tree like this. So I'm going to move it down to a lower bench, and that way I can get more above the tree, and it'll be a little easier on the arms to work on it. I've got the turntable set up on the side bench here. So let's get the forest down now. Right about there. That looks good there. Make sure it can rotate around Perfect. So that's a much nicer height for working on the tops of the trees now. I can get in there and see it a lot more easily. All right, I'll continue working. Finding where I was over on this branch here. Yeah, this is a lot better for working on the trees at this height. A lot easier to see what's going on too. Now that I'm looking down above the trees, I can see some of the trees at the back here need some further pruning of the branches. They're still a little long. So I'm just finishing those up too. I'm not sure how many trees are in this forest. I've never really counted. So I'll do that now. I'm going to count the trees now. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23 plus the seedlings at the back, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 trees so far, and I don't think the seedlings made it. And I've got a few more to plant back there, so yeah, this forest will be over 30 trees someday. Yeah, a few trees need straightening up back there. We'll get to that. All the landscaping will be coming in a future video, part of this series, but got a lot of pruning still to do before I start on the landscape work. But coming along nicely. From above here you can see all the spacing between the trees, how I've tried to give each tree its own spot of sunlight. And I can see a lot that still need pruning, but I'll get to those. But it's getting there. I'm kind of losing my light. You can see my shadows in the way here. I'm losing my light, so I think that is going to be it for today, because tomorrow I'll be visiting Ross in Toronto and then going to the Toronto Bonsai meeting. And then Tuesday I'm going to Stony Creek with my brother. He's picking up his new bicycle. And I'll take you along for that too. The sunlight's fading fast in the greenhouse here, so that is going to be it for today. I was hoping to get this dramatic after shot of the main tree all pruned up in the Cathedral style, but I still have a long way to go on both that tree and some of the ones at the back, getting them all tidied up. So lots more pruning coming on the Avatar Grove. And yeah, we'll continue on in part 4 of this series. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me today in the Bonsai Zone.